Hey, what's up, La Familia? You crazy football-loving nutters. This is Ray Hudson, and you are luxuriating in listening to the NYRB podcast with the stupefyingly magnificent Jay and Alex. Two lads who are as electrifying as a hairdryer thrown into a hot tub. Stay tuned, because you know what it's going to be. It's going to be magisterial with an amplifier.
To the left, Pellegrini, inside, Pizarro Golazo, here's the goal scorer, Morgan, and he's done it again! Lewis Morgan with his second of the match! Higuain will have the goal! He's framed the top 90! It's a sensational first goal for Gonzalo Higuain!
Ooh, it's been 84 years. Feels like it's been so long, man. I think it's been like 2 weeks, but it feels like it's been a month.
I mean, yeah, I had to wipe the dust off the headphones here, kind of go search for the mic and get right back to it. I mean, it's been chaos for you and I over the past couple of weeks. Like that's the best word for it.
It has.
Unadulterated, unfiltered chaos.
Yeah, then I was obviously running a little late due to a school performance, and then ran upstairs, got everything set up, and I was like, where's my SD card? Like, we can't record anything. Then I'm scrambling to try and figure out where the hell I put it. Was able to find it, so we are good to go. But welcome, everyone. Welcome back, man. It's been a while. It's been like 14 days. Exactly. Wow. Okay, very good. Welcome to the NYRB podcast. I am Jay Kington, joined by, as always, Mr. Than Harrington. How you doing, buddy? I miss you.
Full recovery mode. That was a chaotic trip down to Miami.
Rookie.
For those of you, for those of you that don't know, I was in with La Familia up at the supporters section for the New York Red Bulls match with Mr. Riley in tow. For those of you who travel on the regular with your kids, I commend you. I give you all the kudos in the world. Because I'm used to traveling by myself, and then adding a slightly sick, highly irritated, and extremely tired 7-year-old. And God, I feel like I just need another vacation from vacation at this point.
Yeah, man. Here's a pro tip for all you parents or expecting parents out there. When traveling, go to Walgreens, go to Publix, wherever you buy items, and get some Dream Water. It's the magical flight ease of stress for the parents. Much, very handy little tool there. We do not get paid by Dream Water, so I'm going to give them a free shout out. That'd be a weird sponsor.
Yeah, I know. NYRB podcast brought to you by Dream Water.
Brought to you by drugging your children. No, I'm kidding. It's melatonin. Chill.
It's melatonin. Relax, everybody. PC police coming after us here. But no, so jokes aside, though, it was a long week for us between traveling to the Union game, coming down to the Red Bulls game. It was probably one of my favorite weeks in recent memory. Get to see everybody, get to travel the team around like a 6'4", really hairy groupie. And good times, man.
Yeah, very good. Before we get started, we do have quite a bit of catch up. Again, it's been a few weeks and been a little hard to kind of schedule the best time to record and release just because we've been having so many midweek games, but it's finally going to slow down after this upcoming game this week, and we're going to go on the international break, get, about 2.5, maybe 3 weeks of rest. So sorry for the delay. We're going to catch everyone up. Before we do want to just say thoughts and prayers with everyone in Uvalde, Texas as a whole, United States as a whole, all the parents out there, all the children out there. Very, very sad events that occurred earlier this week. Won't really, get into it or anything like that. I just want to share our condolences. So, Moving on, though, we do want to try and stay positive, try and stay happy, because guess what? We've had a pretty damn good run of form lately. We have played, 4 games since we were last on the mic here, if I'm not mistaken. We did have the U.S. Open Cup game against our rivals in Orlando last night, which was a very long-lasting game, very nerve-wracking game, but, compared to the start of the season, recent form has been very, very good. So it looks like some positives are out there. You can tell there's a foundation being built on this team. You're starting to see players emerge. You also are still getting the same typical Miami fans who, quiet when things go good, and when things go bad, they just come out there out of the woodwork, out of the hedgerows, and just start running it and complaining. But again, keep in mind, man, go back to our preseason episodes. We're not even supposed to be competitive. We have 1 DP. It's not even effective. We don't even I can't wait till we have 3 DPs and another transfer window opens, another offseason occurs for Hendo to work his moves. But really, really a lot of positives going on with Inter Miami right now.
Yeah, it's nice to see that we're hitting our stride, especially against some teams that are definitely slated to be some of the powerhouses. The Union. We held our own against them. I know we'll get into it. Red Bull have had a great run of form. They had an unbeaten away record. Orlando, we held our own against Orlando. The only one out of the last 4 I would say was a little bit of a letdown for me was DC, because DC is, I don't know, man. They're an enigma. I don't remember DC looking so good and being this bad in a while.
Yeah. They always are an enigma for us, if it feels.
I can tell you from personal experience, I have never, I've seen half of the games that Inter Miami has played in their history against DC, and we almost always get shellacked, either by a stupid red card, or Ola Kamara decided to go Super Saiyan and hit like a hat trick of hat tricks out there, But, jokes aside, it is good to see that the barometer is reading in favor of what Phil and Chris and Jorge and David are trying to build at the club, with another true test coming up this weekend against Portland.
Yeah, and, we're starting to get a little bit of love from the national media, which is a nice change of events. Removing DC United from the equation, you're talking about Philly, top team in the East right now. Red Bulls, I think they're 5th, if I'm not mistaken, and then Orlando is 3rd. So, you look at, we've played 3 top 5 teams over the past several weeks in the MLS, and we've done a great job. We've held our own. There were 274 minutes of no goals, of great defense, of Drake Callender just emerging to be such a spectacular talent that he is. And look, if you can run 3 out of the top 5 teams, goalless and show that type of progress, the future is got to be very, very bright. If this was a regular season game against Orlando last night, Drake would be sitting on 3 clean sheets in a row. We'd be feeling pretty damn good about what we've done with 3 of the top 5 teams in the league, considering where we are in the league and what the expectations were for us this season. But let's go ahead. Again, a lot of games to catch up, so we're going to try to condense this as much as we can while still covering and discussing a few items about each game. Let's go ahead and start with DC United here, bud. Do you want to take us away on this one?
Yeah, so DC United, we'll probably run through this one the quickest because it was the farthest one away from our current recording. It was a draw, 2-2. Leo scored in the 31st. Damian Lowe had a thundering header, which I absolutely loved in the 45th. He kind of, what's the old ESPN saying? You got to get up to get down. He got up and he dunked it in. And then, our demons came out a little bit. 45th +1, Taxi Fontes came out and just lulled us to sleep and slotted one home. And then that man I already talked about, Ola Kamara, came on out and put the dagger in us. You knew the game. When it was 2-1, I was almost telling myself, Kamara's going to come on late and he's going to do something to us. And it came to fruition there,
But is Taxi Fontes getting enough credit for what he's done since joining them this year? He is a special player. He really is. I mean, just dripping talent.
Well, and I think too, he's not getting enough credit for pulling up the bootstraps and saying, "All right, boys, you guys don't want to do this. Let me pull the whole weight of the ship here. Let's go." I like him. I rate him. I think we're just starting to see the tip of the iceberg with him.
That's a player that any team in this league wants. That's
agree.
what you need. He's an individual creator and contributor. It's very impressive.
I agree. Looking at the stats for the match, just so we don't have to keep repeating it, guys, if you're listening here, the stats are going to go Inter Miami and then DC United, or Inter Miami and then the team we played. So to keep the ball moving, possession-wise, Inter Miami 57.6 to DC's 42.4. Shots 10-9. Shots on goal 7-5. Passes 454 to 328. Corners 4-4. Saves 3-5. Fouls, we actually had a pretty good game for us, 7-12 in favor of DC. Yellow cards, what's going on here? 1-2 in favor of DC. And then that really, and I know I shouldn't be saying this as an opposing fan, but a really, in my opinion, soft red card. It was a double yellow. Mm-hmm. You could kind of tell towards the end of the game, the official had enough. And I forget who the red card was on, so please, I'm sorry. It's been a while, but I remember it being a super soft challenge. I was like, I don't know. I can understand him being on a yellow, and then you get a double yellow. I mean, what were your thoughts, Jay?
I agree that it was fairly soft. But we're so used to calls going against us and kind of getting the rough end of the old coaching or reffing stick, whatever you want to call it. So we will obviously welcome that with open arms, but I would have to agree it was on Christopher Durkin. It was also in like the 91st minute. So it didn't really have that much of an impact on the game, right? So kind of irrelevant. But yeah, rough call. I mean, the biggest thing here was there was disappointment, being up 2-0 and then can't close out the half. I think Taxi scores and probably like the 45th minute or in extra time, I believe, actually, of the first half. And then, again, it's like, well, we're still winning. We can probably get another one in the second half, but we don't. Kamara comes on, equalizes. Felt like we let this one slip away from us. Although, good showing, I think, overall, but some lapses there, but that was really probably the worst game we've played not this month, but over the past four would be the DC United game, only because we gave the game away. But the interplay between the team has been absolutely beautiful. It just improves game by game. We're finally seeing a team that looks like a team. We're seeing individuals play for each other, seeing the fluidity, the composure, dealing with presses. Not always, perfect, but trending in the right way, which is a big thing. And coming off that, definitely instills that thought that like we can do it. We can be competitive. We're not seeing the same struggles of last year. Everything's starting to click, and there's still so much more room to grow that I think it's really only positives. And then we go into the Philly Union game, unless there's anything else you want to add.
No, I was going to say the start of this 4 run, like at the start of the DC match, you can start seeing, like you said, the cohesion, the interplay, the fight for each other. And it's like that car that you've been working on, and now all of a sudden the transmission's working, but it's sticking in spots.
Yeah.
We're getting there, but there's still like a little jolt here or there, and it's, I don't know. And anybody who's been listening to this, listening to us, the pain we've been through. But now we finally have a car that's moving in the right direction. We just need to keep building momentum. And we were looking to do so with this Philly Union game.
Yeah, definitely. And look, here's, I get it. We let the game slip away, the 3 points slip away rather, but hey, we'll take the points if we can get them. I mean, this was a very rough start to the season. Draw could be worse. That's all I'm saying. Could be worse. Little pain. Let's move on, though. We get to, then have the Philadelphia Union game, which was another draw, but top team in the East that we're going head-to-head against. The biggest kind of frustration in this game was there were a lot of chances that we had in this game that we just couldn't get right. There were so many passes or crosses into the box that were like literally like 1 foot off, so many chances, some misses by the player, but you're really starting to see an identity come around this team. And, just stat wise on this, another game where we're up in possession, 55.7 to 44.3 in favor of Inter Miami. Efficiency, is something that we're working on as far as shots and shots on goal, but total shots here, we only had 9, they had 20 shots on goal. We only had 2 and they had 8, but passing though, we're seeing these numbers improve. 539 completed passes in a game is a very solid mark to be at. They only had 419, and then corners, it was 2-6, saves 8-2, fouls, both teams had 9, both teams had 1 yellow card, and there were no red cards in this game. Very, very impressed. This was a game, I think, that we had this feeling that, it's a top team in the East, high chance it doesn't go our way. But then there's also been that kind of thought in the back of your head from the previous games we played, especially like last season, where we don't have a really bad track record against Philly Union. They are competitive and fun games, and to just come out and be able to get a draw against a top team in the East. Really, really proud of the boys. I'm hoping as the season continues, this isn't going to be an instantaneous thing, but they get more comfortable in front of goal. It seems like we've improved on the areas that were major concerns. The finishing has kind of always been an issue outside of, Campana, who's just an absolute monster and can do it with pretty much both feet if he's in the 18-yard box there. But that's the stuff that we really need to focus on. And if we can get there before the end of the season, that'd be phenomenal. I think this is very much like a March Madness situation where if you can just hit your stride towards the end of the season, you can go ahead and put on a nice run to make it to the playoffs, and then you could actually have a nice playoff push. So pretty happy, pretty pleased with that. 2 draws, obviously with the chances missed, we really wanted the 3 points there. But again, let's focus on the incremental steps. What did you think?
Well, being there in person, I can tell you, I don't remember seeing the Union taking 20 shots. Yeah. I can tell you the one I remember, and you and I were discussing this when I was down there. I forgot who took the shot, but it honest to God hit the crossbar and the post, like dead smack on from deep for the Union. Elliott,
was
maybe.
That Glesnes?
Yeah. I was in the stands.
Glesnes ripped it, but
yeah,
Drake got to it. I forgot who the second one that took it, and he tried to curl it, but yeah, hit the post.
And then the Campana shot where he did a beautiful curl out of it, just hit dead center on the post. Yeah, that was a lot closer in person than the TV made it seem. Anyways, I can tell you guys, if you've never made a trip up to Subaru Park, it's a gorgeous facility. It's in a little sketch part of Chester, not gonna lie, but the stadium, the facilities, it's all top notch. It's gorgeous. Get a chance to go up there. I highly recommend it.
Excellent. Hopefully one day we can, because it looks absolutely gorgeous not on paper, on the TV rather. And look, we haven't brought it up yet, and we're definitely gonna get to it over the next 2 games. I'll give you a little teaser. Drake Callender, man, the rise of Drake has been just phenomenal to watch. And this Philly game was kind of his, coming out. I don't want to steal your thunder. I know you've always been so high on Drake Callender. So we'll keep moving. Then we go on to the New York Red Bulls, which was the game that you came down here for the weekend for the return of the prodigal son, who we all miss and want back. Give us him back. Give us Lewis back. But knew this was going to be a good game. This was going to be a fun game regardless. Another really good team. And then, we're still cutting our teeth and figuring this thing out here. But come out with a very solid win. I really think, all the players, like they just knew you were going to be in town and wanted to put on a good show.
I had hoped so. Quite a few of them reached out. They wanted to get my address to come over. I was like, no, guys, listen, you can't hang out. We got the game going on. We can't be doing that. Jokes aside, though, that's why I booked the tickets to come down. I always try to find the one matchup that appeals to me the most, and it was between this and honestly the Portland match coming up. But it's Lewis. I had to come back and see Lewis. I had to come back and see his game.
Gotta do it.
You had to. Yeah, we even got Inter Miami podcast Lewis Morgan chant in the first few minutes as he was down there on the corner. So, let's go ahead and just dive right into it real quick. The game, we obviously won 2-0. Lassiter in the 28th minute, Bryce Duke picked out Lassiter, and I'll tell you what, this is gorgeous. Like one of the best ones I've seen, it literally right in front of us. Lassiter hit a quick couple step overs. He flicked the ball to his right. I want to say Sean Nealis got a little bit on it as it came through the box because Mira looked like he was going to have it completely covered. Lassiter cranks it off Sean Nealis' knees slightly and in the back of the net.
I'm not going to lie. He did it. I don't think anyone thought that wasn't going to the back of the net once he was winding up for it. So when it did, it turned out to be a very impressive shot.
Like I looked at Riley and I was like, oh God damn it, Lassie, what are you doing? Yeah. And then I see it in the back of the net. I was like, oh
yeah, exactly. Everyone's like, oh, come on, try to find, Campana, or you just get to someone in the interior. And no, he did it himself. And another, this was his first MLS goal. The previous two that he scored in the regular season, I guess, was against Tormenta. So it's good to see him finally get on the MLS side. You can see his confidence is building. He's the guy who looks to take on players. He's trying to open up their hips, and then once he sees that, he's trying to make a move. Initially, without the goals, I was looking for a little bit more passing, but if he can continue to build and be shifty like that, and that confidence starts to build, he could kind of turn around his, I don't want to say career. It's not like he's had a horrible career or anything like that, but he's with having to fight for starting time and slumps and stuff like that. So it's nice to see him kind of get back into the type of player that he wants to be with the results that he's seen.
No, absolutely. I mean, you and I have had countless conversations. Like he's got the physical tools. He needs the mental tune-up. It's not like he's off the game mentally. He needs to take the shot when he has the shot, or make the pass when he has the pass. And right now, besides this moment, he looks like he's flipping it. Oh, I have the shot. I better find the pass. Oh, yeah. I need the passes. I'm gonna rip it.
Yeah, we've seen the team hesitate to take the shot. There's been a lot of too much looking for the extra pass, and sometimes you gotta have a go.
No, yeah, you got to. Speaking of having a go, let's get into the second goal. I'm gonna go down and say that this is what struck me. This is what made me believe that this team is coming together. This is the moment a lot of Inter Miami fans have been looking for, and of all people, Jay, and I gotta ask you. Of all people, did you think this buildup would start with Gonzalo Higuain making a sprinting run?
No, I did not. But this was the most beautiful goal I've seen this team score. Not off the shot, but just of how it got done. This is what you want to see. And you get this man in front of goal, and he's going to finish because he is finished.
So,
hey,
Gonzalo, hey, I like it. So Gonzalo Higuain has a ball booted up to him. He's one-on-one with Sean Nealis. Sean Nealis puts a hefty challenge into him, shoulder to shoulder, all clean. And Gonzalo started to bobble on his feet. I'm like, oh, God, he's going down. This is over. But then he finds like an extra ounce of energy, and he gets back up. He doubles back, and Robbie Taylor looks like he was just launched straight out of Cape Canaveral. He looks like he's heading to the moon, sprinting down the field. Robbie gets the ball and then ends Dylan Nealis' night with a beautiful nutmeg to Ulloa on the left-hand side. Ulloa does a fake, like a hezzy step. That's what I want to call it, like a hezzy step. And Mira freezes. And for whatever reason, and I don't know why, I'd like to ask him why he did this, but Pendant ran all the way to the goal line. In doing so, Robbie Taylor was able just to shuffle back, get the ball at his feet. Mira looked back going, oh, shit. And then he just blasted it with his left foot past Pendant. It was absolutely magnificent. Like, just to build up and play, the teamwork, the word I want to use here, selflessness of each of the players to find the better option. Because I honestly thought Victor was going to shoot it.
I don't want to yo-yo shooting. Like he's like Yo-Yo. I referred to him as a Band-Aid. He can kind of hold stuff together, but he's not really, like the impact player. And so he was like, for Yo-Yo to be that far up in the box, I was like, shit. I'll take anyone else in the midfield or on the wings or the attack. But dude, hey, props to Yo-Yo. He kept his calm. The keeper came out a little bit, and then he just right back to Robbie, who dinked a little nice one with his right foot, but you just kind of the keeper was running back. Pendit was just in the middle of the goal, realizing that his decision was the wrong one. He, in his mind, he fully thought Yo-Yo was going to take that shot. So let me just go get a body in between the posts and hope for the best. But then, that was the most calm and collected goal that I've seen this team score. And we were already 1-up, so it wasn't like the game winner or anything like that. 87th minute, just a solid way to cap off the game and continue to build that confidence. Drake had a lot of beautiful saves in this, man. You can get into the stats, but just consider this, like 20 shots against Philly that Philly had. And then in this one, 15 shots. And Drake is stepping up big time to where I think he's our number one keeper at this point. I understand Marsman's been injured, but Marsman's older. I think the future is within Drake, and just very, very impressive team performance. So glad that it happened when you were down here, especially surprising Riley with flying him down here to watch the game. We got to the tailgate mad early so we could see everyone, because, everyone wanted to see you. They don't care about me. They just wanted to see Than. It was just an overall really, really good day, capped off by extra time up at the Northwest Club. That's the memories. That's the memories that we're creating. Everyone's happy. Everyone is happy.
I will never forget him looking at you, and he looks at me. He goes, "Dad, take my hat," and he rips his jersey off, and he goes, "I'm going full Miami," and he starts swinging his shirt around, and I'm like, "All right, dude, go for it."
I told myself I was going to keep my shirt on, but that last one I lost it.
Dude,
I lost it.
When I saw you come out with that shirt, I said, "There's no way that shirt's staying on." Absolutely not. But quick shout out real quick. If you haven't been up to the Northwest Club, it was a phenomenal time. I shared some photos via Twitter. It was borderline like a rave with the club as a background. Like it was fantastic.
Neville came out and made a speech before.
Phil was up there. Someone said Hendo was up there at some point. I don't know.
Hendo's he's like a lurker. He's like a chameleon. Like we saw, obviously we saw Neville. Jorge's brother was there. I didn't see Hendo either, but it would not surprise me.
No, but okay, to that point about Hendo being a lurker, and that's in all, like, it's a loving phrase. It's not a bad thing. Yeah. Like at the Union game, I was watching all of them come out. Riley was getting fist bumped. Shout out to Leo for stopping and talking to Riley for a few minutes. And then all of a sudden, Henderson's staring at me from the bus. I'm like, when did you get past me? Like he just, boom, gone right on the bus. But no, for real, shout out to the club for opening the Northwest Club. It was a great time. Definitely check it out if they do that again. I highly recommend it.
They will. I think that was the first time. I mean, they've done it a few times. I think they're trying to do it every game, but that was the first time we've been able to do it after a win. So everyone was really, really feeling it then.
I also want to give a shout out to Johnny, who dropped his AirPods in the middle of this like rave mosh pit and somehow collected all of them. And he still has working AirPods. It was probably the glory moment of the day.
That's a miracle.
Not gonna lie, it was a Christmas miracle.
What the stats?
But all right, like? So stats: possession 46.4 to 53.6 in favor of New York. Shots 11 to 15. Shots on goal 5 to 4. Actually got outpassed 396 to 451. Pass accuracy 75.3 to 81.4, and corners were 8 to 10. Overall, I'm happy with it. The stats were totally not in our favor. And to be honest, as much as I would have celebrated it, Lewis had his chance to put us away a couple times. New York definitely did not seem like their normal self. And I mean, if you're following the MLS, which I know you are if you're listening to this podcast, you know that the Red Bull had a tremendous away run. And so to be honest, I thought we might be in a tad bit of trouble, but we pulled it out. That's all that matters.
Yeah, they've been struggling at home, but they've been executing flawlessly on the road. So very, very happy with the outcome of that game. Again, beautiful night. Oh, now let's keep it moving. Let's bring in the fourth and final one, which occurred last night, which kept us all up, I think, later than what we were expecting initially. But that would be the round of 16 U.S. Open Cup match against in-state rivals Orlando City. I really, really, really wanted Lou City to beat Nashville, which almost happened. You know, the Nashville wins in extra time. And I really wanted Inter to beat Orlando because I really wanted to see Inter Miami and Lou City play. This game, I mean, obviously, that's a very interesting fan base they have over there with their supporters. Certain type of way they conduct themselves. So the chatter was kicking off way before the game or the stream started. We're talking about early in the afternoon. Man, this was a tough one, man. We had played, I think, worse. That was the worst out of these four games that we're covering, is the way we played here. It was not pretty. We ended up losing, going to PKs. I think the final score was like 4-2 PKs or something like that. Yep. We go to extra time. We're gassed. We're such a thin team, man. We use like every one of our subs. We're so thin. Gassed as hell. But 94th minute, Mota, who is always good for one from 30 yards, right? Always will rip one and have a go. Has struggled. He was in the box, sent it over the top earlier in I think regulation. But 94th minute, Jones comes up the left wing, does a little shimmy, not the best control of the ball. Ball kind of gets away from him, but no worries there because Mota's running right up on that ball. Rips it with his left foot, just slight curl on it, but finally didn't go for the complete finesse shot and decided to put a little bit of power on it. Sneaks back, but sneaks behind whatever his name is, Dudahar or whatever that backup keeper's name is. Oh, man, dude, I screamed. Chloe woke up because I screamed so loud. Felt great. I was like, yeah, hell yeah, man. This is like, I love how in the Open Cup they got all these derbies together. You know, they say it was a random draw, but it was all derbies. I mean, even like Lou City and Nashville separated by like 2 hours, right? Different leagues, but I'm sure there's a rivalry there. Didn't last long, though. Concede 3 minutes later. There's that 5-minute plague again, man. That thing that plagued us so bad in our very first season and continued to linger a bit, man. It was really, really, really tough. But that's why we love the game, right? It's the swing of emotions. I haven't felt that pain since Chelsea and Real in the Champions League game where I thought we were coming back from like 3 down to do it. But yeah, so Mota scores in 94th and then Facundo Torres scores in the 97th. Frustrating part about this is he kind of works his way across the 18-yard box and, Damian Lowe's kind of caught in no man's land. Maybe just one more step to the right and Damian Lowe can stop that, but the equalize. Thought, game wasn't going our way. Possession was rough.
It was a domino effect, though. Jovan Jones didn't pull over, which meant that, and I'm trying to picture this in my head, I think it was Sailor had to pull over, and all of a sudden it was 4 of them trying not to trip Torres because this official was terrible.
We're going to get into that. Don't ruin it yet.
It could have been. I won't because I want to bring it up because I just looked at how many fouls there were. But also, in order to be an Orlando City fan, and I posted this on Twitter, and I got heat for it. You have to dive and dive and dive and dive and dive. That is part of your MO.
There were at least 3 dives that I saw, like true, honest dives, scumbag dives.
Yes, and I won't take anything away from Facundo Torres. Good shot, good rip, have a go. Also, Drake covered it as best he could. He had Damian Lowe, who was a big dude, blocking his vision. Is what it is. I can live with it all day long. But it, to me, and I know we got into a heated discussion on Discord about this, if Jovan Jones pulls over and steps up correctly, I think it's covered better. I honestly do.
I do. I mean, but if Lowe was literally 6 inches more to his right, he might have stopped it. If he was 7 feet to the left, maybe Drake has a little bit more of a clear line of sight and can make the stop. But I mean, he put that ball where you want to put the ball. That wasn't just on the left side of the goal. That was, about as close as you can get without kissing the post. Very, very good shot. So, it does, regulation ended, added time ended, extra time ended. 120 minutes of play plus added time, probably 135 in total. Gassed. You could tell we're gassed. Mabika's cramping. Mota's cramping. Robbie Taylor is cramping. Everyone is absolutely gassed. We go to penalties. We open up. Ooh. We open up. Campana, that boy got ice water in his vein, hits a Panenka off the rip. Everyone was excited. Beautiful goal. I was a little beautiful goal because it went in. That thing kissed the top, the crossbar. That was literally an inch or two from getting doinked off or doinked over from that crossbar. That was ballsy and could have gone very, very wrong. Then Carter comes on, scores. Then Bryce Duke comes up, just misses, man. Just doesn't miss. Like he's on target, but such a slow walk up. Not getting any pace on the ball. Easy to stop. I go ahead. As a fan, don't you dare put the loss on Bryce. I'm not. No, I'm not saying you. I'm saying in general. There's a lot of negative talk towards Bryce Duke last night. He's young. And the boy's young and he's been balling out. He has. All right. Yeah. He hasn't had his shooting boots. And that is what it is. That's a good learning moment. Mm-hmm. It's one of those things that he's going to remember next time and be like, oh, okay, yeah, I need to have a more solid approach. Because even as I mean, you and I have probably seen hundreds of penalty kicks taken between our teams in the course of our life. I watched his run up and I was like, you knew. I don't know. You knew. I don't know. Yeah. But, and I mean, whether he listens to this or not, I don't know. I know some of the team, some of the academy kids, they all listen to this. It's not his fault. No, it's not. There's 120 minutes of other things that could have happened. It's not his fault. Yep. Bryce Duke is a slippery snake, and he's got to shed his skin. And this is just a one layer of skin being shed off, and he's going to become a better player. He has been so shifty and such a creator for us this season. Reiterate one more time, LAFC was very upset to see him go. Their fan base they had high hopes for him. He's had some moments where you could tell the pressure maybe got to him where, he needs to work on his composure a little bit. That will come with experience and with age and just with repetition and practice. So he will get there. Janssen comes on, scores. So now we're down 1. Yedlin comes on, short run up, blasted way over the crossbar. Disappointed a little bit in that one, just with all the experience Yedlin has. But again, everyone is absolutely gassed after this. Pereira comes on, scores, this always confused because there's a Pereira and a Pereira. Pereira comes on, scores, so now it's 3-1. Lassiter comes on, composed, beautiful. No one's stopping that. Picture perfect penalty, he scores, and then Pereira comes on, just to put the nail in the coffin here. Before we get into stats, the refs and all that, this stung because it's our rival. I know we wanted to be focused on the Open Cup, but again, I'll say it one more time. We were not supposed to be competitive this season. We were not meant to win the MLS Cup. We were not meant to win the Open Cup, the Supporters Shield. I'm just happy we got the Coastal Carolina Carolinians Champion Challenge trophy that we got in the preseason. whatever it's called. But proud of the boys for pushing this far. Again, if this is a regular season game, it's a 0-0 draw, another clean sheet for Drake. The tough part that we skipped over, I do want to go back to this, in the final seconds of extra time. Final seconds, right? I think there's maybe, 10, 15 seconds played after that. There is a chance to win the game there. Cross comes in. Campana hits it on the replay. You can tell that ball is going in, and I don't know who the player was, but he's like down on the floor and just, it kind of like hit off him. A little deflection to send it over. There was a glimpse there where we had a chance to steal that game in the dying minutes, which would have been great for the rivalry from our point of view. I still think this game was spectacular for the rivalry that we're building with Orlando. I mean, they're a very, very cocky fan base, think they're the best, and they, are owed the world. Absolutely blows my mind. Kind of going back to what I've seen of them this season. Yeah, they do have solid results as far as points go, but no convincing wins. No convincing wins at all. For all the crap they talked and reached out and tagged us, whatever, clap those cheeks, whatever. Like, you guys took a bottom tier team, took you all the way till penalties, and that's how you win. A win's a win. Be proud of that for sure. And congrats. Be proud, Orlando. But don't come out here and act like, this was an absolute blowout, like 4-0 win. They dominated us from a possession and from a shot. This was an onslaught from the get-go. I mean, a true onslaught. Defense had holes all over it in probably the first 20, 30 minutes. Got a little better. Draco the Great, man. Drake Callender is the truth. Kept us in this game for so much. Yeah, man. What do you think? I've got stats up here for us, by the way.
That's fine, but listen, don't ever tag me in a game where we have lost in penalties 4-2 and tell me that you have clapped our cheeks. Get bent. Listen,
and
I'm
that's
here
the
all
edited
day.
Version you're sharing, because we're a family podcast.
Yeah, that's why we get the explicit rating sometimes.
That's a safety precaution I take.
Yeah, no, but like, I am all here for the banter. I think we have great banter with all the different podcasts across the MLS, with all the different fan bases. But like, that was just a different level. Like, that was like European old firm. Like, I think I saw one towards one Inter Miami fan that said, "I hope you drive the wrong way down the highway on the way home."
It was
like,
Traveler.
whoa!
It was the Traveler and some other very unkind word. Yeah, they're like,
yeah.
Man.
So,
but they're the ones acting that way. So they're gonna cry wolf when it's reciprocated in the following games.
Yeah, absolutely.
This season. Let me just run through the crazy stats to me, and then you can kind of wrap this one up for us. Ooh, possession, 65% to 35%. Felt like we never had the ball. And when we didn't last long. Shot-wise, 28 shots Orlando City had. I'm flipping I know the standard we've been going with Inter Miami first, but I'm going to Orlando first. 28 shots to 12, 6 of those being on goals to our 3. Total passes, we had 432. Not necessarily horrible. Orlando City had 773. It was they were just keeping possession, and it was agonizing. It was a very stressful game. They had 12 corners, we had 3. They hit 33 crosses, we had 4. The most important thing here, which we're going to talk about, I'm sure, right after this, both teams have 4 yellow cards, so we're going to skip that. Foul-wise, we had 26 fouls called against us to their 17. And I think like 6 of those 7 that they got called on didn't come till extra time. It seemed like anytime we were putting a hand on the back of someone, anytime we were getting close, a foul was getting called. There were several dives. They were very ginger, I will say, to be nice about it. This ref was pathetic. I never like to be the guy that complains about the ref, but this ref was pathetic. There should be some sort of board reviewing this. Called so many fouls. What made me really upset is they called one on Damian Lowe for just standing his ground. He gets ran into by an Orlando City player. Then flip that, like 20 minutes later, they do the same thing in the box. At least Damon was outside the box, in the box, and just stands there. We run into him. No harm, no foul. It blows my mind. Like the consistency that lacked in this game was just absolutely mind blowing. But for a team that has one DP that's not effective, still 2 open spots, sanctions, not supposed to win anything. Hey man, we held our own against another top 5 team.
Listen, I'm going to take this just from a fan of the game. There was terrible calls on both sides, but I'm also going to point at the level of officiating that we're getting for this U.S. Open Cup. I went and looked at just a couple other games, and one other game that stuck out to me was the NYCFC Revs match, where the Revs were called for 25 fouls and the New York City FC were called for 17 fouls. If you're gonna have a cup, like a tournament, a cup, whatever you want to call it, you have to let the teams play, for crying out loud. And I'm saying yes, and some of you might get pissed off at me. Yes, we dove too sometimes, but it wasn't to the consistent manner that Orlando was just hitting the deck. There was one where like Pato looked like he was just trying to jump out of a plane to go skydiving. Like, it was terrible.
Touched. Yeah.
But like I'm saying, like this can't stand. And again, I'm not whining, oh, we lost because of the fouls, this, that, the other thing. No, Orlando beat us. End of the day. Like you said, Jay, go on. Go celebrate your win. You deserved it. You win. Yep. Congrats. But at least let the play stand. This reminded me of an NFL game because of how long it took. There was foul. There was a run and play, stop, run and play, stop, run and play, stop, run and play. Like, enough.
Yeah.
Let them play.
Agree with you 100%. Just like a basketball game. There's 2 stop and go, 2 stop and go. And then Gonzalo gets a breakaway, tries to, I guess, get the penalty, slows down. I mean, he's not really nearly as fast as he used to be, so probably not hard to catch. Campana had something very, very similar. You know, there were chances to win this game. We could have won this game 3-1. They could have won this game 5-1. But Drake is just such an absolute wall, and the defense finally started to step it up.
Yeah, and I don't want to keep harping on the refs, but I think as much as we've seen, especially for me watching the USL League One last year with Fort Lauderdale, these refs need to be held accountable. And yes, I know that they get reviewed and this, that, the other thing, whatever. You're ruining the game for the folks that are paying to come see by not being able to adequately do your job. If I could go and do my job as poorly as they do, or if you go and do your job, Jay, as poorly as they do, we would be severely reprimanded for that, Yeah. But again, giant disclaimer for anybody who's listening. I'm not saying that's why we lost. Again, congrats. They beat us. We're out. Game over. Let's move on.
Honestly, if you look at the stats, they dominated us in this game. They deserved to win. We were flustered from the get-go. We had chances to win the game, didn't execute. And they struggled to get goals as well. So, look, positives, held our own, went the distance, still improving. There were some other I'm only going to give one negative, and holy crap, guys, practice PKs more in practice. Just that should be a focus this week. I honestly don't know how often they practice these. It seems like not very often. This was our first penalty shootout that we've ever been in. You could tell that the nerves weren't calm. There was a very high chance. It's strange because I just wanted the game to end. Like in the in the 113th minute, I was like, dude, they're like just nonstop possession on us. So let's just get out, go to PKs. But even going into PKs, you just couldn't really feel super confident because we've never seen what this team has done. We knew that several of the players who would be taking shots like Omota, like Robbie Taylor, were cramping and were not available for that. So that, again, will get better, but we're still seeing improvement. We're still trending up, and we're still being competitive, which is the most important thing as this team continues to grow. What were your positives and negatives for this one?
I gotta say, and I know I had a pretty staunch stance against what I thought he was going to be. He's won me over 100% You know, we actually had a decent conversation, he and I did, over the past weekend. Drake, man. Drake's our number one. He absolutely killed it over these past 4 games. He even made SportsCenter top 10 with one of his saves.
Yep.
He is coming into it when we need it the most. You know, I am not afraid to admit when I was wrong, and I fully read this one the wrong way. You know, Drake's our guy. He's a good dude, great person to talk to, and he's absolutely doing it for us right now when we need him the most. The next positive for me, Robbie Taylor. Oh, get on it, man. The footwork, the confidence that's exuding out of him. And I kind of think he's starting to feed off Campana a little bit because it seemed like they play pretty well together. Mm-hmm. It's awesome because we singled out Robbie as one of our players to watch going forward. Negatives.
Don't want to cut you off here, but we didn't mention it, but not the best game we've seen from Indy Vasilov.
No, which was really shocking because I thought Indy would. This was Indy's game.
This lineup was.
He looked. Maybe he was tired. Maybe he looked indecisive. But I would say for me, Indy has earned enough credit where I'm like, okay, cool. Don't worry about it.
He can have a bad game. Everyone loves him. That's fine.
Yeah.
Bad showing.
Yeah.
Different lineup than what we thought was going to come out. We thought this was going to be our starters from the rip. Honestly, in hindsight, you don't know that these games are going to go 120 minutes with penalties. But in hindsight, we should have just came out with the starters because everyone basically played, 70 minutes plus. So everyone's going to be gassed after this one.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Negative for me. We very clearly need, now that Mabika is back, we need to make sure that we're practicing the center back rotations because Lowe did not look as comfortable as he did with Mabika to his side as he did with Ryan Sailor, which I guess that would be another positive for me real quick, going back to Sailor. Whew, that lettuce is flowing in the midfield or on the defensive back line. It looks like he's been around for a while. So, but hey, so why don't you take us into the rankings? Let's keep this train moving.
Yes, sir. So power rankings, we're 20th out of 28, kind of hovering around that area. At least we're, have some more teams below us. We're starting to get, more coverage. They're talking about, going against Philly, going against Red Bull, the results we're having. I don't think we're going to catch too much slack for losing a game in penalties. Still hard fought, so just keep an eye on that. Look to be climbing. As far as Eastern Conference standings go, we are in 10th place. We were 1 point off the playoff line here. So, I mean, really, these are crunch time games right now. I think I said this going back to the Revs game or maybe the game before that where 3 points would have been massive at the time. We're going to play Portland next. We're going to get to that shortly, but look, we're at 15th. Charlotte's in at 7th, is at 16, right? It's only 1 point away. If we can get a win here, it's going to, barring whatever happens in the Charlotte game, it'll put us right where we need to be. 2 wins in a row, shoot, we're going to be sitting real pretty. We are in a good position to climb here, but 10th, not bad considering the start of the season, and we're seeing some improvement. Just really trailing right now at this point. Charlotte in that 7th spot, and then Atlanta below them in the 8th, in the New England Revolution in the 9th spot.
I would say this is the perfect time for us to be doing what we're doing because it's a shame. I know Atlanta's not one of my favorite teams, but the amount of injuries they're having right now, we're catching them at the perfect time where they're not necessarily in a free fall, but they're not in a good spot. We need to build. We need to build off this, and this starts with this Portland Timbers match coming up.
It does. And Community Shield ranking, right? Overall rank between both conferences, 19 out of 28, so 1 spot higher. But yeah, look, we're trending in the right way. We're going to play, Portland Timbers next, who have been struggling this season. They're sitting in the 10th spot as well. So it's kind of the matchup, of the 10s over here. They only have 3 wins. We do have 4. So, we kind of give us an edge in that one over there. And then as far as their away record, really only 1 win on the road, 3 draws, 3 losses away. This is Portland's always a tricky team. They can always beat you. Historically, always pretty consistent. But this is a solid chance. This is at Drive Pink. We've had a slew of home games, which is beautiful. About to go on an international break. This is where the players got to give it their all. This is where you run your legs till they fall off. You're going to have 3 weeks to recover. Very, very big game coming up here on Saturday. 8 o'clock game. Wish you were down here for this, because if it's a late game on a Saturday, the after party's coming. Going to be a good time. That is this Saturday, 5/28. That's May 28th, 8 p.m., baby. Let's go. What are we thinking for this one, bud?
Well, looking at their recent run of form, they played 2 teams that we've played. They lost to Philly and they drew the Red Bull. That being said, I watch enough for the Timbers because for whatever reason, I love their stadium.
Yeah.
I'm not I'm not a fan of Portland, but I love watching a game in their stadium. Mm-hmm. They have a great fan base. They have, they saw the piece off the log when they score. I'm going to go 2-2 draw because the Chara brothers, man, like you can't ever count them out. Like if they feed them whatever they normally feed them when they're on a winning streak, they're fantastic players. They're going to do the job for Portland. I think that the short turnaround from 120 plus minutes of football is going to hurt us in the long run. So I'll go 2-2.
Okay, fair enough. I'm gonna go 1-0 Inter, just because Drake's playing so well. The defense is gonna keep coming together. They've had good games, bad games, but Drake is just playing so good. I mean, the players we really need to watch out here is Soloma 4 goals, Yimi Char is 3, and Yimi Char also has 4 assists. He's kind of the utility tool here. Leading for appearances. The Char brothers are real. Sebastian Blanco is going to be their main kind of Pirlo magical player, pulling all the strings. He can also rip them. He has a beautiful shot, low key. I am a Sebastian Blanco fan. Those are the ones that we really need to watch after in this game. But, the way we played, their form is not great compared to their standards. I think that we could probably walk out with a clean sheet and just get a one goal win over here.
I would definitely say for the fans that might be overlooking Portland, please keep in mind that their 1 win in this stretch was a 7-2 thrashing of Sporting Kansas City.
Yeah.
Now, I know Kansas City's not like the top tier team, but an MLS team dropped 7. Like, they have the firepower. So
they can get out of hand real quick.
Yeah, very, very quick, which it did. Jay, let's turn to the news. Looking at the news, Phil Neville and Drake are number 1 team of the week, man. It is not that often that you see a head coach get on the team of the week. What were your thoughts with this, Jay?
So this was for last week after the New York Red Bulls game. Drake was the starter this week. The week prior, he was the backup keeper on the team of the week. Arguably should have been the starter on that, but good to see Phil Neville get in there. I know we kind of yelled it at him, when we saw him after the game, just his master class. I think well deserved. I think that game was coached. I think they prepped for that game. They planned for that game quite well. With a team like New York Red Bulls, who can easily put 3 goals on you, 4 goals, keeping them contained, wrapped up, nice clean sheet, good creation from us. Finishing was important. Really, really happy to see that, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I think he kind of ran away from us when we screamed masterclass as he's heading up to the Northwest Club. But you know what? It's well deserved. I think for as stingy as they are for passing it out to a head coach, definitely the one to get it this time around. Next bit of news, the biggest piece of news, which I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with the timing of it. Inter Miami set to play Barcelona in a friendly on July 19th. Why? I don't like friendlies during the middle of a season.
Smack in the midseason game against one of the best teams in the world, sure.
And then you're going to go ahead and charge the prices you're charging for the tickets. It's insanity. I'm not talking. I mean, great, good money move for the club, whatever. But it's in the middle of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Like a Tuesday game or something like that? Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't know. Are they going to play their starters? I have no idea. Interesting. Someone said in the Discord, very valid point. It's going to be good to see Drive Pink at maximum capacity for the first time.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be primarily red and blue. Unfortunately, I think.
Yeah.
Just double checking. It is a Tuesday match.
Yeah. Okay.
Definitely a Tuesday match. So, all right, on to the next bit of news.
Speaking of blue,
here.
tell us about the Prime Blue.
Dude, this is horrendous. Inter Miami's Prime Blue kits were released. For those of you who haven't noticed, they went with, I believe, white for some folks, and I think it was purple.
Yeah, it's
other
purple.
folks got purple. Sorry, Atlanta. I know how much you guys want to emulate Orlando. They got purple. We got what is essentially our recycled white heron kit, and the colors on it are a creamsicle, which really looks like that they were printing our white heron and the ink ran out.
Yep.
And they're charging full price for it.
$90, baby. The money grabs of MLS is just ridiculous. All the training tops, which are 60, the Prime Blues, one from one game, which are 90. I would be more inclined to pay $90 if it was unique per team. But the fact that you just divide the teams, half get purple, half get white, stupid to me.
Well, and the fact, like, I saw one of I think it was Top 90 for Charlotte, one of their podcasts. They're like, oh, check out this unique look. I'm like, that's not unique. No. We've been wearing that for like 3 years.
Yeah.
Like, stop.
Yeah.
Now my caveat to that is it's a great foundation. They're raising money to help keep oceans clean up the environment. Like, all for it. Like, I'm here for that.
Good call.
But be creative.
Yep.
Be creative. Let's get on to some better news. Now we got past the shenanigans there. Our boy, Robbie Taylor. This was breaking before, as I was writing the outline. Robbie got called up to the Finnish national team.
Because he can finish.
Well-deserved.
I'm going to beat that horse till it's dead. And then once it's dead, I'm going to keep beating it.
I know. I'm sorry. All right, listen. Next one up. Inter Miami 2 winger Darian Reyes got called up to the Cuban national team. The boy we ran into on Sunday, even though it was for like 10 seconds, the Dominican Messi himself, Edison Azcona, got called up to the Dominican Republic national team. And just real quick to touch on all three of those, it shows that all three levels of our club right now are clicking, and we're getting scouted for the national teams, and that's going to draw more talent in, I think.
The foundation is hardening. That cement flooring has been laid, man. It for what this season was projected to be, just to see this, man, it just makes me feel good. It really makes me feel good. Once we have a full team with 3 DPs or 2 DPs, 3 young DPs, or however you want to structure this, man, it just seems like things are only going to get better, and very, very happy.
And a cherry on the top to that, major shout out to the U15s and the academy qualifying for the playoffs. They actually, while I went down to you guys, they were actually up just down the border down in Maryland. They had like this MLS tournament deal, and they actually won every game they played in Maryland.
Wow.
So, yep, shout out to those boys. The academy's clicking. We're huge fans of the academy. If it's, longtime listeners know we talk about the youth movement here. So,
gorgeous.
Jay,
bring us to OnlyFans.
It's gorgeous. It's
gorgeous.
It's your favorite section. It's OnlyFans time.
OnlyFans, and you don't have to pay to subscribe. You can just click subscribe on the podcast button. That is.
I still haven't gotten any money out of this.
We're doing going to do a little early leak here, but a little Christmas gift. We're going to have an OnlyFans 12-month calendar, 12 different pictures. We're talking Santa hats. We're talking stockings on his bed looking up at you. Like it's going to be special. Just keep an eye out around Christmas time for the OnlyFans Christmas calendar.
I need to contact my agent. This is not what I agreed to.
Yep.
But
Maybe like the
anyways,
ESPN
first time.
body issue, except it's going to be Christmas themed. It's going to be.
I got to
great.
get back. I got to get back to the gym then. But no, first time listeners, if you haven't heard this before, OnlyFans is where we have fan questions asked to Mr. Kinkton and myself, and we give you our honest answers depending on the question. This is the section where I came out as an environmentalist, apparently. I don't know. Is what it is. So, first question from GXO, Greenlock Gang, shout out. Jay, who are your 5 players that should be taking penalty kicks going forward?
5 players take penalty kicks. Like of the whole I'll assume the starting squad, right? Or assume we're playing in a 4-3-3. We're not going to have both Campana and Higuain. So number 1 is going to be, whoever our number 9 is. If it's Leo or if it's Gonzalo, comfortable with either of those. Beyond that, I'm going to go with Lassiter. I'm going to go with Mota. Going to go with Robbie Taylor. Robbie Robinson, if he's healthy, would be my 5th. If not, I'd like to see Damian Lowe step up. I think he's a leader. So that would probably be my 5th.
I would go... I'm just going to say Campana. Again, Gonzalez hit those in his sleep. I'm sure he could hit another one. Whatever it is, what it is. We'll go Robbie Taylor. Go Lassiter. We'll go Gregory.
Okay.
I like Gregory. And then I'm on the fence between... And this kind of goes back to what we were talking about. I would say give DeAndre Yedlin the ball again. Only because he has the experience. Like, I think that was just the nerves, the exhaustion, the bad legs. Give it to him. I'm not saying let him be the last one. If he's going to miss, let it be early. But, yeah. Moving on.
So just want to reiterate that. Over Robbie Robinson, if he's available.
Based off of who I said, would Robbie be on the field?
Okay, fair.
Right? If Robbie's on the field, Robbie's going to take the place of, I don't know, probably, see, I can't even say Lassiter or Robbie Taylor.
But, I had thought, maybe just because the game was already in the 70-something minute, maybe just don't sub off Gonzalo because there's a chance that it goes to PKs. But then again, could Gonzalo go a full 120 minutes? So I don't know. No,
probably not. But to your point, if Robbie's available, he's on the field. Robbie Robinson makes that no problem. Next question. DMont525 asks, Jay, do you think the Open Cup loss will serve in the long run as an important chemistry booster?
Yeah, we're seeing the chemistry get better. I think it's a confidence booster, and you got to go through those hardships. If you played a team sport, excuse me, if you played a team sport, you have to go through those hardships to really get to, where you want to be. So I think that this was a valuable lesson that we learned. I think Phil would want to put a little bit more emphasis on practicing penalty kicks. It's tough because during the regular season, you're never going to get a penalty shootout, but it's kind of always one of those fundamentals that I think you should probably close out every practice with, just, quick, having people take a few penalties just to stay comfortable. But overall, it hurts. And the reason it hurt, if this was against, a Nashville would hurt because they're also an expansion team in the same year as us, but this was against a New York City. If this was against an Atlanta, it wouldn't hurt nearly as bad. The part that hurts is that it's against a rival and that they just choose to kind of handle themselves in the certain way that they do, in that kind of, pompous attitude. I'll leave it at that. That's what hurt. But waking up, I was like, damn, that sucks. But that's it. I'm proud. The team learned a lot this game, and I think that this was a good lesson learned. I think the chemistry is going to be better. You saw Bryce Duke miss his penalty. You knew he was upset. Campana runs up right away, grabs his chin, and pushes it up, saying, hold your head high. And then he brings him around, puts his arm around him. You see once Yedlin missed his, he's more experienced, right? He's a veteran, so he knew, I'm still going to hold my head high or whatever. But the way the team, I think after that Yedlin one, they knew that they weren't going to win, but they were still there for each other. I think it was a very important moment, a painful moment, but an important moment for this team to continue growing. What did you think?
I would say it does serve as an important chemistry booster. And, one thing I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about, Drake covered the first 2 penalties. He was within the first one. He was within, I don't know, half a foot. No, half a foot doesn't even do it. He was probably like less than that. And then the second one, he got a hand on it, just popped up over.
I think if he goes full extension with 2 arms together, he might that might parry off to the post or something. But yeah.
But to your point, and I don't want to beat the dead horse and repeat what you already said, Campana ran over there, grabbed Bryce Duke's head, and hold your head up. I said, yep, this is going to be okay for us. We'll be all right.
And Gonzalo was what? Go ahead, because you agree with me. So
yeah, Gonzalo was coaching the boys up. Let's go, boys. Let's go. Like, you see him patting them on the head, trying to get him. And I was like, oh, this is not like, what is going on? Between him doing that, him being positive during the Red Bulls game, and then him stopping and actually talking to fans of the Union game, I'm thinking we're starting to see a different Gonzalo who's buying into it during his last season. Or he knows it's his last ride and he's just trying to make it the best. Whatever it is, I would agree this is important for team chemistry. Talking about Mr. Callender, because yes, this is the Drake Callender show. This is all about Drake. This is Drake's time to shine. It was his best week, all right? Johnny, who, if you don't follow Johnny on social media, Pistol Grip Poet, puts out all of our best images, all of our hot banter, our memes, our episode art. Follow Johnny. Jay, what would you give Drake for a nickname?
Dude, I've been bouncing ones around in my head. This will probably come to me more naturally throughout the season, but Johnny said one that I really like. They call Drizzy Drake the Six God from, I guess 610 or 601 is the Toronto area code. So he said the Drake, the Stick God, or the Sticks God, because he's really good in between the sticks. So I like that one. I'm going to kind of roll with that one until my strange punny brain pops one other into my head. What do you get?
I can't go with that because we already have one player that we've already used the Drake reference to, Champagne Cam Poppy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I right now, and maybe Drake, if you're listening, to give us your thoughts, because I think that'd be cool. But Drake the Great, that's an easy, simple one as a placeholder until we can figure something else out. Yeah, I don't know. We're gonna have to give some more thought on it.
I'm trying to get something around like his inner zen and meditation and inner peace without trying to be too corny, because obviously Drake is the biggest rapper in the world, so I don't just want to rip off that, but it'll come to us naturally. We'll figure it out down the road. Don't worry.
But we will totally rip off Champagne Cam Poppy. Like, I'm gonna keep saying that. Like, sorry, dude, we took you once. We're gonna keep going with it. All right. B Griff asked Jay if you had to choose a player to DJ at the club's after party in the Northwest Club, who would you want it to be and why?
For the Northwest Club, just with that vibe, it's gonna be hard to not go with one of the dudes from South America. I feel like Yedlin's probably got a pretty fire little set he could rip off. Yeah, I'd probably go with like, I'm torn between Yedlin or like Mota might have some fire tunes as well,
I think we'd be best to reevaluate this question once we see more of their hype playlists come out.
Or Brett could just bang out like some 80s love ballads,
Yo, I was glad we got to see him at the Red Bull game. That was
DJ at like a dive bar. Like, it's Breck all day. But like at the Northwest Club where they're trying to get that, whole club vibe down. Yeah, I gotta go with it, man, because I was in that press conference and that new Bad Bunny was ripping, man. They jam out.
Dude, great album. But I'm gonna go DeAndre Yedlin, but I'm gonna make you laugh. You know who I bet has a banging playlist and could rip one? Lil Bryce Duke.
The little Bryce.
Get Bryce, dude. Get Bryce back there. I want to hear what he's got to play because, it's always the quiet ones you have to watch out for.
Yeah, what is it?
Because he's probably got that hot fire.
Little Uzi Vert. I mean, look, DeAndre's already got the DJ haircut, right?
Yeah. By the way, green haircut. I'd like to know more about that. Is what it is. Griff also asked, how was Riley's first game of Drive Pink? Give you the short, sweet of it. He learned about Florida Heat this weekend. Once we got him rehydrated and cooled down, absolutely had a blast. We landed back in Baltimore Monday morning. He asked if we could just fly back out this weekend. I said, Dad's not that rich. And he goes, it's okay, Dad. One day you'll make money. I said, great. Thanks, dude.
Thanks for the encouragement, bro. Thanks, Dad. One day you won't be a bro. Beep. Damn.
Yeah.
I'm not buying you goldfish this week.
No, it's the little savage I've raised, unfortunately. The final question from Nuka Cola Bender. This is a good one. All right. You have one chance to score a penalty kick. If you score, you get that absolutely absurd Mbappe contract, including the signing bonus. If you miss, you spend 6 months in prison. For the sake of the conversation, we're going to say world-class keeper like Manuel Neuer in that. You taking that shot?
I'm taking that shot, dude. Wouldn't it be my first time behind bars?
Hi.
Wouldn't it be my second time?
So
Wouldn't it be my third time?
I'm taking the shot, and I'm gonna put a Panenka straight on Manuel Neuer. Yeah. I don't care if I miss it. I'm getting that money. Yeah. I'm getting that money.
That's fine, dude. I'll make all the prison hooch. Don't worry.
Oh God. Listen, we apologize at this point. We had a lot of games to cover. It's been an hour and 40 minutes. We are having a great time. Jay, where can they find us on social media?
Oh, check us out on Instagram at InterMIA Podcast. Wait, no, Instagram's at InterMiami Podcast. Twitter is at InterMIA Podcast. Check us out. Reach out to us. DM us. Join the Discord. It's growing every day.
Shout out to all of the supporter groups: Greenlock Gang, Nacion Rosanegra. We have Southern Legion. We've got The Siege. We've got Vice City Boys. We've got Inter Miami supporters. Thank you for all the love this past weekend. We are on our way out. And as we end every episode, vamos, Miami.
Vamos, Miami. Cheers, everybody. Enjoy.
Adios.
UEFA Champions League this weekend.
Hala Madrid.